Hello, today I'm going to bring you along here while I replace the brakes and rotors on my 2005 Honda Pilot. I usually pick up a manual for any car that I'm working on just to give me any direction, especially if I get stuck or if I have a question about the right way to do something. So what I'm doing today looks like it applies to any Honda Pilots from 2003 to 2007 and Acura MDXs made in 2001 through 2007. So this will start off just like any other car video here. Make sure that you've got the proper PPE, hearing protection, eye protection, probably more importantly jack stands, good jack. Make sure that you've got your chocks under your wheels here so that your car is stable while you're working on it. So what I'm going to do here, just to start off, is to remove all my lug nuts, crack them while it's on the ground, and then I'll start getting the car up, lifted up here where I can take the wheel off. That way I can crack the nuts without putting excessive strain on the drivetrain. I'll fully remove it once I get it up in the air there. So I grabbed my 3/4 inch socket. I've got a special key here for one of my lug nuts because someone might steal my fancy rims that I've got on this Pilot. Yeah, right. Cracked. Right. Cracked. I like to use a big breaker bar for this. It's less strain. It's always nice to have the right tools for the job. It makes everything go so much easier. And by doing things myself, it's my excuse to get new equipment. Figure if I take it to the dealer, it'll cost me that much more, so why not buy some tools with the money you're saving? For a jacking point, I like to use the jack spot where the Honda factory jack would sit. I found that a bottle jack works best for the Honda Pilot as it sits a little bit higher, has higher ground clearance, so just have a big red 20-ton here. Works pretty well. You can spin this up and down to get it to the right height to start. I like to get down, look for a solid spot. Raise it up as high as you can, so that if it ever did fall, it won't go very far. Alright, I've been fortunate these rotors have lasted 200,000 miles. Yep, you heard that right. So it's time to replace them. You can see there's two screws here that hold the rotor on. First we got to get the brake assembly out of the way here. Let's do that. Two bolts on the back side there that need to come off. One on the top, one on the bottom there. So we'll pull that off, pull this whole assembly up, then hold it up using a wire, actually an old hanger that I've modified here, and hang it from the top there. Then we can work on getting the rotor off. So just to give you a better view here, we got a 17mm socket here. We're going to put it on, take this off, and there's another one right down there. So we got those two. That'll take the assembly off. Once again, I'm going to use a breaker bar just to crack it, and then I'll use my battery operated impact wrench to remove it the rest of the way, just for speed. You tighten this on tight. I'm going to get a different angle. Alright. That one was tight. Messed with a different angle. Now it works. So this bottom one's still a little stubborn, so I'm going to take out another hand tool here and work it loose some more. There we go. Alright, should be set. I'm able to pull this off, and let's just hang it for now, okay? Now we can work on this rotor here. So this is a small impact. We're going to give it a shot. I've stripped these out before, and then you have to drill them out. Wow, these came out easy. This car has been worked on recently, so you can obviously tell. This one came off really easy here, but that typically isn't the case. Like I said, I've had this side worked on recently, had the wheel bearing replaced. That was something I took in, decided that that's where my home mechanic stopped because it needed to be pressed out and pressed in. But on the other side, what I did is slam. You get an open space right here because you've got this guard on the back, and just kept on working it like this until it started to move. Kept on wiggling it like this, harder and harder, and got it off. If it's really stubborn, which I have had in the past, I spray penetrating oil, something like PV Blaster around there, and then let it sit. I also use a torch, and the heating and cooling of the rotor causes expansion and contraction on this, and that will sometimes break that seal of rust that you can get, especially when you keep your rotors for 200,000 miles on a vehicle like this. So what prompted me to do this in the first place, and you can probably see it here a little bit if the light is right, but my rotor started to warp. Wasn't sure if that's because last time I got my tires rotated, they over torqued. So here it is, very similar. Just because they're there, I am going to line up the holes for the screws, although those are only for the assembly line to help keep the rotors on. Not a big deal. I might just put one in here just to keep it sucked in while I work on the calipers. So I just kind of set it right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the grease. Use a high temperature grease. This one is excellent for disc brake wheel bearings, so that high temp should be perfect for lubricating those up. And then we're going to press in the master, or the cylinder here for the brakes, so that we can get our new pads in and fit over the top of the rotor. Gloves are nice for this type of work. I just recommend having them around. I know it's a pain to get them out and find them in your shop, but definitely saves on the cleanup. So now, get a big C-clamp, right? This is how we're going to press our brake in. Someone actually showed me on my last YouTube video. I used to find a block of wood to press this in, but they had a great suggestion. Just use your old brake pad. Makes sense, right? So, here we are. I just put this on the back here. Just like that. Start pressing in. Take your time. No reason to rush this. You can open up your brake fluid chamber and under the hood, just so that there's some pressure relief there. Alright, now we've got the cylinder pressed all the way in, went in well. If you have a hard time, so here we go. Got these Adaptive 1 brake pads. Definitely needed for the city driving that I do. No, I don't know. That's what they had. So, got a grease packet here that came with it. Put it on the back. Contact surfaces right here too on both pads. That'll help prevent smooth motion and prevent any squealing you may have. This came with replacement clips here, so let's take those out of the frame. So throw that one away. Put this one in. Just looking it over, making sure it looks good. Put them on the right way. All right. Make sure it's all seated. There are tabs in there that line it up. So we're looking good. Alright, so here we are. We've got this. I'm going to carefully slide this back on. Now I'm going to seat the boots. over the top there. See that? Nice motion. Perfect. I'm happy. Alright, so the adaptive ones here, just the ones that I picked out. I learned something new. They've got a different ceramic for the inside of the car and a different ceramic for the outside, because they say that the outside of your wheel gets more airflow through your alloy rims. Can be made out of a different ceramic, where the inside gets treated a little bit more harshly and needs something that can stand up to that temperature. So I guess it wears more evenly, and I don't know, hopefully stops my car better in that stop and go traffic I have to deal with on my commute. So yeah, let's just get this high temperature grease on the contact surfaces, not the brake pad itself, because remember, that's a friction surface. We want to stop. This is just the contact with the frame and the caliper assembly. Okay. So this is red. That means hot. That means it goes on the inside. Be careful not to touch the pad with your greasy fingers. Slide it in. Work it in. Got the left in. Now I'm working on the right. Might have to adjust the metal frame a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Now it's seated tight in back there. Alright, grab the other pad. Alright, time to put the other side in, the outboard side now. So it's got the blue dot for the adaptive brake pads that I bought. Usually they don't matter which side they go on. So now we hold that all in place, flip it around, slide it over on new rotors like that. Bingo. Okay, got it started. I'm gonna hand tighten it as far as I can go. Okay, that's good. Now let's get the other bolt, the bottom bolt. Got that. Gotta work it around. Good. Got it in. Alright. Now I'm going to tighten it up. Not that tight. I'm going to do a loose setting here, and then I'll hand tighten it the rest of the way. New brake pads, new rotor, put the wheel on in reverse. Most importantly, at the end, always practice safety, taking everything down, putting it on the ground, and then pump your brakes to get that caliper tightened up before you ever put it into gear. Make sure that you got solid brake power. So this will stay in place once you get your wheel on there. All these lug nuts hold everything really secure, so it doesn't really matter if you put in the screw for assembly or not. At least that's my belief. That's what I've heard. Go with whatever you read as the proper way. That's my disclaimer. but it's looking good. Now, if you were bleeding your brakes, which I might come back and do, that's right over here. Get someone to help you. That's usually the best way to do it. And you can bleed out your brake fluid. Not necessary, but like I said, I've got a few miles on my car, and it's probably about time to go through some new fluid again. So I'm just going to get them snug, but not tight until I'm on the ground. And then I'll do a star pattern. Just tighten them up. Soft all the way down to the floor. Again. Now we're firm. Perfect. Now, thanks for watching me replace my rotor and brakes on my 2005 Honda Pilot. And, you know, this is just what I do. Make sure that you know what you're doing ahead of time. Just wanted to show you my experience. This one was actually pretty easy. Good luck out there, and save some money.